With free agency kicking off in just a few weeks' time, the New York Jets are going to have to fill some holes. Here are my top 5 needs for the New York Jets in free agency.
Jets, Jets!
All right, gang, welcome to Jets Talk. My name is Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we were talking a little bit of free agency. It's coming up real fast. I want to talk about 5 needs that I think the New York Jets should really target in free agency. Now, I do want to focus this on free agency because there's going to be needs that we can address in the draft, and they don't necessarily line up in my wants in free agency versus my wants in the draft. So keep that in mind as I go through this list. At number 5, my first need for the New York Jets is going to be linebacker. CJ Mosley is starting to get up there in years, and we also have an out in his contract after just next year. So instead of paying $17 million a year to an aging CJ Mosley, I do think Joe Douglas is going to wind up cutting him. So we're going to need some type of heir apparent in the building. I do think we should go with a young route as well in the draft, but I think you got to bring in some type of veteran presence in that linebacking core. Last year we brought in Jared Davis. Experiment really did not work out. You draft some guys that are safeties, converted, will linebackers, kind of a deal over there. And you got Quincy Williams coming back. And I really like Quincy Williams. I think he's best used in a blitzing / depth role for us. So I'd like to bring in some type of linebacker. I know the hot name is going to be the guy from Atlanta, Foyesade. He has that relationship with our defensive coordinator in Jeff Ulbrich, who used to be his linebackers coach. I don't know if we wind up going that route just because he wound up having his best season after Ulbrich left. So it's kind of one of those weird, like, why would I go back to there if I didn't perform as well? But we'll see. I do think linebacker is an area that I would like to address in free agency before we hit the draft. At number 4, I have wide receiver. And this is a weird one, I think, for a lot of people because wide receiver is absolutely a top need for this team. But when I look at the free agent route of wide receivers, at least at this particular point in time, I don't really want to overextend ourselves in free agency. Devontae Adams is not going to come here. He's probably going to wind up getting franchise tag. Gallup and Godwin, who both have ACL tears. There's a few other guys. Mike Williams maybe has some injury concerns. Does Amari Cooper get cut? You could go the trade route, and you could go number 10 overall in the draft. Free agent-wise, I do think Allen Robinson is probably on the table for the New York Jets here. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, I want to retain Berrios. I think that whole position group is definitely good, but we're losing Jamison Crowder. We're losing Keelan Cole. I mean, you could lose Braxton Berrios too, for sure. And then you got Corey Davis going into year 2 with the New York Jets. He has just 2 years remaining on his contract. We can get out of the contract after next year. So I don't want to pretend that Corey Davis might be a long-term solution for us. It may just be one more year before we wind up moving on. So that's why I think drafting a receiver would really be a good option because then you kind of benefit from that longer-term deal with a young player to grow with Zach. At number 3, I have cornerback, and this is an area that there's some really nice, attractive names in free agency that I would like to possibly look at, but I don't know if the Jets are going to go that route. Like J.C. Jackson is hands down my top cornerback hit in the market, but I think he's going to get franchise tagged by the Patriots. They're not going to let him go to a division rival without a fight. I do like Carlton Davis down in Tampa Bay, but I think the Jets probably try to solve this in the draft in some capacity, but I would like to bring in some type of veteran because that is a really young position group. So at number 3 on my rankings here, I'm looking at maybe someone like a Dante Jackson or some type of vet that might come in at the under $10 million mark just so you can get a little bit of age here. At number 2, we're talking safety, and there's going to be a lot of safeties that you could really go after here. Guys like Jesse Bates, Marcus Williams, Justin Reed, just to name a few of them. I do like Marcus Williams the most, but I don't know if Joe Douglas is going to spend that kind of money on a safety position after seeing how he's handled Jamal Adams, Marcus May, LaMarcus Joyner, and Ashton Davis. It doesn't feel like they prioritize that particular position too much, and I don't want us to go into the draft needing a safety because that's going to really tempt us to take Kyle Hamilton at 4, and I don't particularly want the Jets to go that way. I'd prefer an edge rusher early in this draft. So I would prefer the Jets to wind up going safety in free agency. I think there's some money to spend. Justin Reed's the name that I'm really looking out for. I think he is an uptick kind of player that could be had for a lower type of contract that you were trying to offer to like a Marcus May. So I think the money and the need fits with Justin Reed. And at number 1, this is the most important position that the Jets need to focus on this offseason, and that is the tight end position. That is I want to go with it in free agency. I want to go with it in the draft. I want to add 2 over the course of this offseason because it's just so important for this offense. Now, what direction do you go in free agency? Everyone wants Dalton Schultz. I get that's the main guy. I've heard rumors the Cowboys might try to franchise tag him. And then you also have to take into account, are the Jets the best landing spot for him? Does he want to go to the New York Jets? Because that's what we wind up seeing every single offseason. The top free agents go to the teams they want to go to they get the contract, they get the success from a winning organization. What's stopping Dalton Schultz from going to like the Bengals or some other much higher caliber team than the Jets are currently at this time? So I'd be looking somewhere in that secondary market. If you want to look at an O.J. Howard, a David Njoku, maybe a Zach Ertz, something along those lines, I do think it's important to bring in someone on a 1-year deal to at least fill the tight end room with a vet, and then you go into the draft and you try to look for someone like a Trey McBride, a Jeremy Ruckert, someone along those lines to really round out your roster. So guys, let me know your top 5 needs for the New York Jets down below in the comments. Did I do pretty good? Should I have gone after edge rusher? Should I have gone after O-line? There's so many different ways the New York Jets can go. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.